night. Get a day for the night. Cause you know my wife. She wanna kill. She fuck all night. I wanna fuck with a thot. Hey, you better give me tonight.
Dwight Howard's attention, did not, and then when he finally does, it became physical for a moment. Right here you could see them kind of grab onto each other and have to be separated. They would talk throughout the entire timeout.
Wow, where do I start? Could I start by saying this team won't be any younger next year? I could start with that, but the problem is we have 1,000 places to start. So let's start with the bright spots before the others. That list is miles shorter. Let's start with LeBron, the only beacon of hope for the Lakers. He played another amazing season with 30 a night, and then Malik Monk also became quite the player for the Lakers this year. And Austin Reeves was also really good for us this year, but that's really about it. Now it gets tricky. Now we got to figure out where do we start with the bad things that happened this season and why the Lakers suck. Let's start off with the coaching. Frank Vogel does not deserve to be the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers next year, and I think that I have a better chance of being with Kim Kardashian next year than he does with being with the Lakers. I think that Quinn Snyder is actually going to be the perfect option to replace him. I think that's a great way to go if you're the Lakers and try to run it back next year. Obviously make some trades, sign some people, but I think Quinn Snyder would be the coach if you want to attempt to win a championship. Obviously, if you don't go the rebuilding route this way, I love Quinn Snyder for the job. But Frank Vogel, Anthony Davis said it best. We had more starting lineups than we did wins this season. And that's just never going to end well because players tend to need time to get in a good groove and win games together in the starting lineup. And we had more wins than we had more starting lineups than we had wins. Does that sound like a recipe to success for you? I really don't think so. Now, the thing is, I did like Frank Vogel. I think he's a good defensive coach. But just after this past season, there's no, okay, you get another shot. Because this was downright embarrassing. Right now, we're 17 games under 500, and we're supposed to be a championship-level team. I don't think that's how the two should go together. Now, I think Frank Vogel, he got us a championship, and I'm fine with that. I think another good option to replace him would be Van Gundy. I like him. He went 430 and 318. He had a good record. He plays a traditional style of basketball, and that's the style I like. A big man, and you play old-school basketball. I think he'd win that really well. Anthony Davis, if he stays, would be perfect for that system. I think he'd put him at the 5. But the other problem is we need some roster changes. This team is not great, and I think Anthony Davis has got to go. He's never available, and I wouldn't even mind somebody less talent, but can be available a bit more often than Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is just never there. I mean, the best skill in the basketball game is availability, and if you don't have that, what are you going to do? I mean, if you're not accountable to be in the game. What chances do you really have at winning a championship? So I would just trade him this offseason. Russell Westbrook, oh my God, it just got reports that he has no plans on not being with the Lakers next year, obviously because he's going to get paid a $44 million contract if he accepts it. Why wouldn't you accept that? That's fumbling the bag like Schroeder right there. But it's going to be a problem getting rid of him if we decide to. I really don't want to run it back with him next year. But if the offers are really that bad, maybe we'll have to. But then there goes a lot of free agency signings. Now, for the free agency market, I think there's a couple players you can go. I think I'm not upset with bringing Dwight. I like Dwight. I think he can get you at least 5 to 10 rebounds. I think we keep him. You keep Melo back maybe on like a really cheap deal because he can't play defense and he's really inconsistent. So I wouldn't mind him coming back, but hopefully not the minutes he's getting this year. But some people I think would be good to pick up are Covington. I think Robert Covington would be an amazing pickup for this Lakers squad. Plays defense, can shoot the three ball decently well. I think that'd be a nice combination to throw in with this team so you can stretch out the floor a bit more when LeBron's playing. And another player I think would be great to pick up would be Ricky Rubio. I think that he can play the point guard position amazingly, especially if Westbrook decides to stay. I think that he can play that backup point guard role to perfection. He did a great job for his Cavs this last year, and he's done a great job every team he's gone to. Even in Minnesota, was great. So I think he'd be a very solid backup or even starter for this squad. Now, the rest you can, depending on trades, you can fill the roster how you want. But there definitely should be a bunch of differences this year compared to last year because this year we sucked. We were the biggest disappointment in NBA history, in my opinion. You have 5 future Hall of Famers on this squad, and you didn't make the playoffs with the play-in tournament available. That's really disappointing. I mean, it's unbelievably disappointing. You can't really compare it to another team except for the Nets when they had Garnett and Pierce. But even then, I still think this is 10 times worse of a look for if you're the Lakers. You're the Lakers. You're supposed to win championships, not be able to make the play-in tournament when you have 5 future Hall of Famers on your squad. So, yes, right now I'm a pretty upset Lakers fan because the Suns have sent us packing 2 years in a row now. Who wants to have that to your name? The Suns sending you home. I don't like the Suns. The Suns are arguably my least favorite team in the league. So seeing them wipe our asses 2 years in a row really hurts. But at the end of the day, hopefully we can be back strong next year. I'm excited to see what we can do this offseason. I think we'll do some great things. But until then, I'm going to be a pretty sad Laker this offseason until something big happens. But in all seriousness, I want to thank you guys for tuning into this episode of the Mob's Legacy Podcast. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Peace out.